This is Sara with Posh Pooch Designs, and this is our first square. For our year-long crochet along, we're going to be doing one 6-inch square each month, and that 6-inch square will be inspired by the month's birthstone. January's birthstone is Garnet, and so we've made a Garnet Afghan or granny square, whichever you would like to call it. Now these will not be traditional granny squares. They're going to be 6-inch Afghan squares. We're going to be making 12 altogether, one for each month, and this is the first one. At the end, we're going to come up with a really fun project, if you want to put them together. What we're going to be using each month is we're going to be using Red Heart with Love. Today we're using the, it's called Berry Red, and I think it's close for Granite. Sometimes red can be a little bit hard to see, and so because this is just a little bit darker, I think it works really good, and we'll be able to see it. Now this is a free pattern on my blog, and on the blog there is a step-by-step photo tutorial as well. So we're going to begin with Red Heart with Love yarn. You're also going to need your H hook. You're going to need a pair of scissors, of course, to cut at the end, and a needle to weave in your ends. It takes a small amount, and of course you can make as many as you want to. So grab your supplies and we'll get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our yarn and make a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to join this 6th chain into a circle. So we're going to take that tail and put it through that loop and snug that down. And I usually go ahead and make another little knot just so it holds. And now these next stitches, we're going to be working off this circle. So let's put our crochet hook through and pull that loop up on our hook. So the next portion we're going to do is we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have a loop and 6 chains. We're going to go back to our loop and we're going to make a single crochet. So we go through, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through those 2 loops. Now we're going to chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to go right back in that same loop and make another single crochet. And so what we're going to do is we've got 2 made, and we're going to make 6 more loops like this. We're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll single crochet in that same circle or loop. That's our beginning circle. So here's 3 now. We need to have a total of 8. So I'm going to make 5 more. Chain 6, single crochet. All right, so I have 4 loops now. I need to make 4 more loops with a single crochet in between each one. So chain 6, single crochet 4 more times. I took a second and used my needle and went ahead and weaved in that beginning string just to get it out of the way so that it wouldn't be in the way. So the next thing we're going to do for the next row is we're going to go in this first loop. Now we have 8 chain 6 loops, and we're going to go right in the next loop and make a single crochet. We're going to chain 7. My yarn got snagged. There we go. We went right in this first loop, we chained 7, and we're going to single crochet right in that same loop. And we're going to do this in every single loop of the chain 6 loops that we made on the previous row. So we're going to single crochet, chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to single crochet in that same loop. So you're having loops in loops. We're making single crochet, chain 7, single crochet. Then we go to the next loop, single crochet, chain 7, single crochet. And we'll do this in all 8 of the loops. Single crochet, chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and single crochet in the same loop. And we'll do this all the way around our little flower, because that's what it kind of looks like to me. So we've done a single crochet, chain 7, single crochet in each of the chain 6 loops all the way around. Now we're back at the beginning, and we're going to just make a slip stitch right in that first single crochet and pull up a loop. And we're going to go right in this chain 7 chain that we made earlier, this chain 7 loop. We're going to go in there, make a slip stitch, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now on this row, we're going to try and make our flower into a square. We're on this row here, and we're going to be doing the corners and the sides now. So we've got a chain 3 that counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to make 2 more double crochets, yarn over, go through the loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2. And then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And we're going to go right back in this same loop because we're making our first corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So we made our first corner. Our chain 3 counted as our first double crochet. Then we did 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 2. And in the next chain 7 loop, we're only going to place 3 double crochets because this is our first side. 1, 2, 3. It looks like we've got a little snag going on. There we go. And we'll chain 2. So we've got our first corner and our first side. Now this next chain 7 loop, we're going to place another corner. So we'll place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll chain 2, 1, 2, and place 3 more double crochets in that same corner. This little snag wants to follow me. All right. 1, that was 2, and this is 3. Chain 2. There we go. So we've made a corner, we've made a side, and we made another corner. And we're going to repeat this all the way around, side, corner, side, corner, side. And then we'll join back with a slip stitch to the top of this chain 3. So 3 double crochets in the next. For our next side, chain 2, then we'll make a corner, then a side, a corner, and a side, and like I said, we'll join to the top of this chain 3. So we did corner, side, corner, side, corner, side, corner, side, so that we can make it into a square. And we did our chain 2. I'm going to join to the top of this chain 3. And then we're going to slip stitch in those next 2 stitches just to get us back over into that corner. So 1 slip stitch, 2 slip stitch, then we're back in that corner with the slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And you know, don't worry if your square is not perfect, because you'll probably want to block it when we're done, and I'll talk about that in just a second. The next row is pretty much like the last row. We're going to be doing a corner, chain 3, chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, then we'll chain 2, and then we'll place 2 sets of 3 double crochets in those chain 2 spaces between, and we'll do that on all the sides, and that will make it have a nice square. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll talk a little bit about how to block it, because you can block acrylic yarn. So I put 2 double crochets, I'm going to chain 2, and in the same corner I'm going to put 3 more double crochets, 1, 2, 3. So there's my first corner. Chain 2, and then I'm going to place 3 double crochets in this first chain 2 space. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2 again, and the second chain 2 space we're going to place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And chain 2. There you go. 1, 2. And then we're going to go right back in this next corner and do exactly the same thing. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets like we did on the other corners. 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, and we'll repeat like we did here. 3 double crochets, chain 2 in those chain 2 spaces, and then a corner, and we'll do that on this side and this side and this side, and then we'll join back to our chain 3, and then we'll tie off. And after we do that, I'm going to show you what I do to block my acrylic squares, and it works great for cotton and wool as well. So I finished this last row. We've got 4 corners and 2 sets of 3 double crochets in each of the chain 2 spaces with a chain 2 in between, and now I'm going to join to the top of that chain 3 we initially began with on this row with a slip stitch, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Something that I do when I'm working granny square like this is the way that I pull that yarn out is I go in the next stitch from behind, and I just pull that loop under, and then I pull that yarn to tie off, and it gives it just a little bit of, maybe, I don't know if it makes it invisible, it just makes it not so that it's not so visible to be seen. Okay, so now we're going to turn our square over, and we're going to grab our needle, and we're going to take that tail, and we're just going to weave it in a little bit so it doesn't come undone. Now, you can make several of these and wait till you're done to weave your ends in, but I like to get it over with because it's just one of those things I don't care for. Although I have a friend who loves tying in her ends. She thinks it's relaxing. So there's our square. It's a little wonky, right? So what I do is I have this board, and I love it because it has all the inches measured off. If you don't have one like this, you can do this on a piece of sponge or cardboard. Cardboard, if you get it wet, doesn't work that great, but you can take a piece of white sponge and measure off your inches. And when I have 4 pins here, so what I do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so my square is going to fit here. So I'll go in my first pin, and I'll pin it on that right at that corner, and then I'll take my next pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll stretch that over because I want these to be nice and crisp. So we're going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to pin that to the 6th one there. And then again here. And I sort of kind of bend them at an angle. I love this board. It is by the Crochet Dude. I purchased it at Michael's, oh, several years ago. And I think I bought 6 of them at one time because I had a gift card. So if you want to pin the sides over, if you feel like it needs to be more crisp, you can. At this point, what I do is I just take my water bottle and I spritz it. If I don't have a water bottle, I just take a cup and I just dampen it like this. And then I either set it on top of my dryer or I set it in the sun. And that's going to give you a nice crisp square like this one. They're a lot easier to put together if you do block them. Now some people make a blocking board, and I've seen them made out of wood with nails. Those are super cool, and if you can get someone to make you one of those, that is perfect. But I really like this one. It works great. So this is our first square, January Garnet 6-inch square number 1. Next month we're going to do February Amethyst. And I've already got some design ideas ready for that one.